Well, good afternoon and welcome to A Day in the Life. One of the things that we're trying to do as we walk through these times together is to give you a chance to be able to hear people's stories in a little bit different way. We're not able to bring people together to record their stories, and so we've just asked them to jump online with us and share a little bit of their situation, how they're getting creative in that, and how they're experiencing God through that. And today we have the opportunity to have Alexa with us, and she's agreed to jump online. And it's interesting, Alexa's actually our stories coordinator here at Hoboken Grace, and usually she's scheduling people to come in and be interviewed and to be a part of sharing their story. And so today she gets to share her story with us and kind of bring us into a day in her life. So, Alexa, if you would just kind of share with us your situation and what this has looked like a little bit for you as we're moving through this time.
Absolutely. And thanks for the opportunity. I think it's really unique the way that the Hoboken Grace community has stayed connected during this time. And it's just been definitely something that I've been most grateful for. And it's nice to be on the other side of this operation for once. So thank you so much for giving me the chance to share. And I would say my situation is, I would say unique because I am so grateful during this time to be able to continue to work. And I am calling that unique because that is definitely not what it looks like for most individuals during this pandemic. So first and foremost, I am unique in that I get up every morning and I go to work. And by even going, maybe the kitchen table, it's still going to work and it's operations as normal. I can continue to do my daily tasks. So I am so grateful that I have some sort of routine that is still very familiar. It just looks a little bit different, but at least I still have it.
Yeah, I think well your job you often are online anyway, right? A lot of what you do is on the computer. You talked about staying connected and how people are staying connected. What does that look like for you over the past week and a half?
It's been really cool because you see people, and not just myself, I've been seeing this across social media. People are connecting more than ever. So we're always being pulled in 25 different directions. Not everybody is at home at the same time and can schedule things like family meetings, family get togethers through technology. So I think we're in this age where technology is such a positive thing, but also can be such a negative thing. And I've always believed the positivity around technology has been the fact that we can bring people together. The biggest thing for me is I have a family in South Jersey, but I don't want to compromise their health. So while it's so hard for me not to just get in the car and drive home, I at least can stay connected through technology. And on the flip side of that, dinner groups. Wow, the fact that we can continue to have dinner groups due to technology has been incredible. We always stay connected during the week through our chat, which is amazing. But the fact that we still regularly meet on Sundays at our designated time, we see the faces of our friends, we get to continue in that community and to listen to each other's struggles and pray for one another in a more heightened and unique way than ever before.
How have you? Are there any ways that you've gotten creative during this time? Things that you're like, you know what, I did this, and wanted to try something different, and it worked out, or it was a complete failure. Like I've found that like half of Casey and I's creative ideas have been complete failures, but the other half have worked. So what have you experienced?
So I am not a creative individual. um, Definitely, I would say with workouts, the creativity around, staying healthy during this time, which is super, super important, making sure that you're continuously moving. And while we need to limit our outside exposure, finding those 30 minutes to get fresh air in a non-populated area. So I'm not one to look up trails by nearby, and I'm finding other resources other than just the Hoboken waterfront because that's starting to get congested. So again, the ability to jump in a car, drive for 15 minutes, find a new area. So I think that within itself has been a little bit creative of how can I get myself in the outside world again, like I never typically do, on a day-to-day basis before all of this. So that's been fun. And also creativity. I'm lucky enough to have some free weights at home, but for what I've been seeing is if you don't, using your canned vegetables and other, bottles or heavy things that you have around the house to, again, just keep the blood flow going and keep that movement going.
When I was a kid, we actually couldn't afford weights, so I used to lift milk jugs.
Yes.
That was it. That's how I got so big. That's how that happened. So one last question. As you move through this, how have you been experiencing God?
So I have to say, last Thursday was the biggest day for me thus far through all of this. So it's been very unique. My dinner group took the step to participate in monthly fasting back in November. And it was very easy for us because it was the shortest day, I think, of the year. So we started very easy. So going into last Thursday, it was going to be our first fast with the daylight savings, and it was going to be a full 12 hours. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I always get very nervous the night before. And I woke up Thursday morning with the most amazing sense of calm I've ever had. And it was because God used this time and the patterns that I had been seeing earlier in the week to prepare me for my fast. So when the pandemic started, I like a little bit to what I was saying in the beginning of this, I've had such a sense of gratitude, but when I recognize my gratitude and what I have, I automatically flip that with a prayer for those who don't have it. Again, it's a unique situation that I am in that I can continue, but there's so many people who can't. So I found myself earlier in the week having these moments of gratitude, but immediately followed up by a moment of prayer. And I just had such a heightened explosion of conversation with him throughout the week that I don't think I typically have. Especially because it was an outpouring for that recognition and for others, which is really cool. So when Thursday came along, God was like, Alexa, this is what you do when you fast. When I feel the sense of hunger, I recognize what that feeling is, but I follow it up with a prayer of, there's so many people out there in this world that don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And that feeling of hunger is always, when I fast, I'm recognizing that I'm hungry, but Lord, please bless those who are constantly hungry. And another truth that came to light on Thursday was when we fast, it's temporary. Thank God we know where our next meal is coming from. And when that sun sets, we're going to have that meal. And I see the same thing with the pandemic. It's temporary. We are going to come out of this. We are going to learn from this. And it's all temporary. God has a plan. And this, now more of a time than ever is a time to trust him and trust that plan. While hard situations like this are temporary, his love is not temporary. It endures forever. It can overcome any big, bad, scary things. And this is one of them. And what he's doing along the way, the constant communication with people that we probably haven't talked to in a while or had that time to sit down with, he's heightening those relationships. And again, with the prayer, he's showing me that there is this pattern that does not only have to happen on the third Thursday of every month, it should happen every single day. Every time we have that spark of gratitude, how can we then turn that to pray for others?
That's awesome. That's really, really good. And for those of you who don't know, we do here at Hoboken Grace, we practice fasting on a monthly basis. It's part of our rhythms. You can just go to hobokengrace.com/rhythms. You can read more about that. But that's awesome. And I love that how as you experience that gratitude, you're also going to prayer for those who are struggling and those who right now, whether it's that they don't have or that, they're watching a family member in the hospital that's growing sick or if they've lost someone that they love, right? Just consistently engaging God in that conversation for them. One of the ways that we talk about that here at Hoboken Grace is fighting for people, that God's called us to fight for those around us in prayer, and we get to do that in a really unique way. So I really appreciate you coming on with us today. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I think it's only appropriate that the stories coordinator would be the first story.
Thank you so much, and praying for the Hoboken Grace community and the entire Hoboken community and surroundings. So thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and we will see you again soon.
Sounds good.
Have a great one.